From players losing their cool on the course, to dirty controversies that left everyone speechless. These are 20 unforgettable golf moments you won't believe actually happened. And first we start with number 20. It's not every day you see a pro golfer walk past rows of fans, through a roped-off area, and straight into what looks like a luxury lounge. But that's exactly what happened during the third round of the 2015 PGA Championship. Matt Jones was in the heat of the battle at Whistling Straits, riding high near the top of the leaderboard, until one swing sent him somewhere nobody expected. His tee shot on the 9th hole vanished left. And not just in the rough left. We're talking off the course and into unknown territory. Cameras scrambled to follow him, and when they finally caught up, there he was, standing in the middle of a hospitality tent. Carpeted floor, folding chairs, spectators sipping drinks. Oh yeah, and his golf ball. Now here's the crazy part. Instead of taking a free drop, Matt Jones decides to hit it as it lies. He clears some space, takes aim from inside the tent, and somehow launches his ball back out toward the green. It wasn't perfect. He made bogey, but the internet had seen enough. One of the weirdest and most awkward shots ever played at a major. And for Jones, you can bet there's nothing more humbling than chasing your ball into a hospitality tent, only to swing a 7-iron while people in polos and lanyards quietly sip cocktails and stare. Next up at number 19, and for 3.5 days at Southern Hills, 27-year-old Mito Pereira was putting on a masterclass. He was calm, confident, leading a major, and doing it like he'd been there 100 times before. Then came the 18th hole on Sunday. One-shot lead, just one good swing, and he's Chile's first major champion. But something's off. His routine looks rushed, his swing feels tense. He steps up and hits a massive push slice that sails straight into the creek. Panic sets in. He drops, flubs the approach, sends the chip long, and misses the bogey putt. Double bogey. He goes from leading the PGA to missing the playoff by one shot. His face says it all, no emotion, just this hollow stare, like even he can't believe it. Meanwhile, Justin Thomas and Will Zalatoris are stunned to find themselves in a playoff. JT wins. And Mito? He walks off the course in silence, knowing he just handed it away on the final hole. One of the most crushing and publicly embarrassing endings in PGA Championship history. Here at number 18, and it's round 1 of the 2023 PGA Championship at Oak Hill, and Tom Kim is trying to keep his scorecard clean. But on the 6th hole, his ball takes a bad bounce and ends up near the edge of a creek. Determined not to take a penalty, Tom decides to go after it. And here's where it gets ugly. From the fairway, it looks like solid ground, but the second he steps in, he sinks. Fast. Within seconds, he's waist-deep in straight-up swamp sludge. His shirt, pants, shoes, everything gets absolutely destroyed. He tries to climb out, but every move just makes it worse. By the time he finally escapes, he looks like he's been wrestling a mud monster. The cameras catch every second. Fans lose it online. Social media turns it into a meme within minutes. And what does Tom do? He laughs it off like a champ. After the round, he jokes, "I think the world has seen enough already of it." Let's be real. He might have saved the stroke, but for Tom Kim, this was without a doubt the most embarrassing moment of his entire PGA Championship debut. Number 17 takes us back to 2010 at Whistling Straits, one of the most dramatic and chaotic finishes in PGA Championship history. Bubba Watson, the big swinging lefty with the pink driver and a homemade swing, was playing the tournament of his life. After a clutch final round 68, he found himself tied at 11 under with Germany's Martin Kaymer, setting up a nerve-rattling 3-hole playoff for the Wanamaker Trophy. But this wasn't just a clash of scores, it was a clash of styles. Kaymer, the icy tactician, built his game on precision and patience. And Bubba? He was chaos in motion. All heart, all instinct, playing shots most guys wouldn't even think of attempting. In the playoff, Bubba came out swinging, literally. He birdied the first hole, seizing the early lead and stunning the crowd. But Kaymer answered back on the second hole with a birdie of his own, setting up a do-or-die finish on the 18th. Both players missed the fairway, but this is where the styles really showed. Kaymer played safe, laying up, trusting his wedge game. Bubba, true to form, went for it all. From the rough with water looming, he pulled the trigger and watched in horror as the ball found the hazard. That one shot changed everything. Kaymer made bogey, Bubba made double, and just like that, the dream was over. It was heartbreak for Bubba, but a star had been born. Alright, here's number 15. So, winning your third PGA championship should be nothing but celebration, right? Well, not if the trophy ceremony turns into one of the most awkward moments of your career. Brooks Koepka had just pulled off something incredible, taking down the field at Oak Hill in 2023 to claim his third Wanamaker trophy. The crowd was on its feet. The cameras were rolling. Everything was set for that perfect picture-book moment. But then the handshake. As Brooks steps up to accept the trophy, PGA of America CEO Seth Waugh appears to extend a hand, so Brooks goes in for the shake. And right as he does, Waugh pulls his hand away like he just remembered he's allergic to LIV Golf. Now here's the thing. Waugh had made plenty of critical comments about the LIV Tour in the past. And Brooks? He was now the face of LIV's major success. So, when that handshake fell flat on national TV, it didn't feel like an accident. It felt personal. The two of them just stood there for a second in complete silence. No words, no smile, just vibes. And the internet exploded. Fans called it petty, embarrassing, and a terrible look for a major championship. For Brooks, it should have been a moment of pure glory. Instead, it turned into the most awkward and possibly most political trophy handoff in PGA Championship history. Number 14 belongs to an incredible shot that changed everything. See, the 2020 PGA Championship was just weird. No fans because of COVID, just empty fairways and silence. Super eerie vibe. By Sunday afternoon, the leaderboard's a total traffic jam. 7 guys within one shot. And right in the middle of it is Collin Morikawa, this 23-year-old kid playing only his second major ever. Now we get to the par 4 16th hole at Harding Park. It's this super tempting 294-yard hole. You can lay up safely or try to drive the green if you've got the guts. Most guys are playing it safe, hitting iron off the tee. I mean, with the tournament on the line, why risk disaster, right? So Morikawa's tied for the lead with Paul Casey at 11 under. The smart play is obvious. Hit an iron, wedge it close, make your par, move on. But this kid has ice in his veins. He pulls out the driver. The shot needs to be absolutely perfect. Start it left and let it fade to the right side where the pin is tucked. Miss it slightly either way, and you're cooked. He hits it. The ball takes off on this gorgeous trajectory, lands soft on the front of the green, and starts rolling and rolling until it stops 7 feet from the hole. Did this 23-year-old kid just win the PGA Championship with one swing? Sure enough, he drains the eagle putt to go up by 2 with 2 holes left. Game over. Morikawa cruises home with 2 easy pars to win by 2. This baby-faced kid, who looks like he should still be in college, just became the 3rd youngest PGA champion ever. And he did it with one of the most gutsy, perfect clutch shots you'll ever see. Which brings us to number 13. And speaking of bad shots, there's John Daly. And then there's this guy. We're at the 2021 PGA Championship at Kiowa Island, one of the toughest tests in golf. Sebastián Muñoz is stepping up to the tee on the 18th hole. A brutal finisher with wind, water, and trouble everywhere. He takes his swing, and immediately everyone watching knows it's going left. But this isn't just your average hook into the rough. The ball flies toward the grandstands and then suddenly disappears. No bounce, no roll, no sound. Turns out Muñoz didn't just miss the fairway, he drained his drive directly into a trash can. One clean bounce, straight into the bin like he was aiming for a 3-pointer. It was so absurd you'd think it was a trick shot on YouTube. A rules official confirms it. The ball's in the garbage, wedged between a hot dog wrapper and some souvenir programs. He gets relief, pulls the ball out, and, adding to the weirdness, hands it to a fan who now owns one of the most ridiculous souvenirs in major championship history. To his credit, Muñoz brushed it off, salvaged par, and kept his round on track. But the clip, that thing blew up online. Fans couldn't stop replaying it, and even some of his fellow pros were laughing at how bizarrely accurate that miss was. Sliding into number 12, we find out that age is truly just a number. Let me explain. We're in May 2021. Phil Mickelson shows up at Kiowa Island as basically an afterthought. He's almost 51 years old. He hasn't won anything in forever. The dude's wearing reading glasses, for crying out loud. The Kiowa's ocean course is a total beast. Longest course in major history with crazy winds coming off the ocean. Everyone's like, this is a young man's track. You need power. Old Phil doesn't stand a chance. First couple days, Phil's playing pretty good, shooting 70, then 69. He's in the mix, but is not enough. Then Saturday hits, and the wind is howling. Most guys are just trying to survive. And Phil? He starts putting on a clinic. Hitting these low shots under the wind, getting up and down from everywhere. And that putter that's been so iffy, it's suddenly hot. Sunday morning, the golf world is shook. Wait, Phil's leading? Grandpa Phil with the creaky back and the psoriatic arthritis is actually winning this thing? The final round gets absolutely crazy. Kupka's pushing him early. The crowd is getting rowdy. Everyone's wondering, can Phil's old man nerves hold up? Will his back give out? It all happens on the 7th hole. Phil finds this waste bunker off the tee. Young Phil would have tried some crazy hero shot. But this older, wiser Phil, he plays it smart. Lays up, sticks his approach, makes birdie. Suddenly he's pulling away. The scene on 18 is insane, the fans just lose it, but Phil stays ice cold. 2 putts for the win, and boom. At 50 years, 11 months, and 7 days old, he's the oldest major champion ever. Smashes a record that stood for over half a century. Next up, number 11. Well, there are bad shots, and then there are John Daly bad shots. But what happened next at Whistling Straits? Nobody saw that coming. It's round 2 of the 2015 PGA Championship, and Daly, already far off the leaderboard, is playing the par 3 7th. He steps up, takes the swing, and watches his ball sail straight into Lake Michigan. Frustrating, sure, but Daly being Daly, he decides that one ball in the water isn't enough. He casually re-tees and does it again. Another splash. Finally, Daly manages to stick one on the green. But by then, the damage was done. And just when you think this can't get any worse, Daly walks over to the edge of the tee box, looks out at the water, and in one swift motion, launches his club into the lake like he's trying to take the whole hole down with him. The crowd gasps. The cameras catch every second, and then, to top off this perfectly bizarre moment, a boat from nearby motors over and actually fishes the club out of the lake. No joke. A guy in a boat holding up John Daly's soaked 6-iron like he just found buried treasure. It was iconic, sure. But let's be honest, when you card a 10 and end up one club lighter than you started, that's not just frustration. That's one of the most embarrassing blow-ups in PGA Championship history. Coming in at number 10, it's 2013 and we're at Oak Hill. And let me tell you, this one makes everyone cringe and cover their eyes. Henrik Stenson, this Swedish guy, is right in the mix during the 3rd round. He's known for being one of the most accurate drivers in the game. The dude is a machine off the tee. But it doesn't matter that much, because golf humbles everyone eventually. On the par 4 9th hole, Stenson's drive goes seriously sideways. We're talking way right, heading straight for the gallery. Everyone's yelling, 4! But in the crowded atmosphere of a major, not everybody hears it in time. What happens next? Stenson's ball smacks this poor spectator right in the head. The fan drops to the ground, and the whole vibe changes instantly. Medical staff comes sprinting over. Stenson, looking totally shaken, walks over to check on the guy. Amazingly, the spectator is conscious and talking, which is a huge relief, but he's bleeding and clearly needs to go to the hospital. Somehow, Stenson manages to pull himself together. He plays solid golf the rest of the way and finishes tied for 3rd behind Jason Dufner. But that incident was a brutal reminder that even a refined sport like golf can turn dangerous in a split second. Counting down to number 9. And this might be the most frustrating and quietly embarrassing way to lose a shot at a major. And unless you're really into the rulebook, you probably didn't even know this was possible. It's the 3rd round of the 2023 PGA Championship at Oak Hill. Lee Hodges is on the 17th green, lining up a long par putt. He gives it a great roll, and the ball trickles toward the hole, slows down, hangs on the edge, and then just sits there, teetering, barely breathing. Everyone leans in. Hodges walks up to the hole, and then, after more than 30 seconds, the ball finally drops in. The crowd erupts. Hodges gives a casual nod. It looks like he just drained the most dramatic par save of the day. But then, here comes the rules official. According to Rule 13.3a, you're only allowed to wait 10 seconds after reaching the hole for a ball to drop. Anything after that? It doesn't count. So instead of walking off with a highlight reel par, Hodges gets slapped with a 1-stroke penalty. His miraculous save becomes a bogey. Talk about a momentum killer. Coming in at number 8, it's 2009, and Tiger Woods wasn't just the best golfer in the world. The guy was unbeatable, especially in majors. 14 times Tiger had a lead going into Sunday of a major, and 14 times he'd closed the deal. Not once had he ever coughed up a final round lead, not once. So who's standing in his way at Hazeltine? Wei Yang, this 37-year-old South Korean guy most casual fans had never even heard of. This dude had survived a childhood accident, worked construction, and didn't pick up golf until he was 19. And this time he goes, against Tiger? Come on. Tiger's up by 2 shots Sunday morning. Everyone's thinking, okay, just give him the trophy already. But then, Tiger starts missing putts. Not long ones, short ones. Gimmies. The kind he never misses when it matters. Meanwhile, Yang just keeps hanging around like nothing. The back nine gets crazy. Yang chips in for eagle on 13 and takes the lead. Everyone watching is like, is this really happening right now? Then comes the 18th hole. Yang's up by 1, he's staring down the shot with a tree between him and the flag. The smart play is to aim away from the pin, take your par, and hope Tiger messes up. But Yang? Nah. This guy pulls out a hybrid and absolutely sticks it to 10 feet. Tiger's shot misses the green. Game over. Yang drains his birdie putt and wins by 3. Just like that, the unbeatable Tiger Woods gets beaten. The streak is dead. A guy who started golf at 19 just took down the greatest player ever. First Asian-born player to win a men's major, too. This was David knocking out Goliath with one perfect swing. And here we are with number 6. Now we've seen clubs thrown before. But what happened next at Valhalla? That was a whole new level of embarrassing for everyone involved. It's round 2 of the 2024 PGA Championship. Adam Hadwin finds himself grinding through the par 5 7th hole when he completely loses it after a frustrating shot. The Canadian pro grabs his 8-iron and hucks it straight into the water like it personally offended him. Standard meltdown, right? But then, out of nowhere, a fan strips down to his underwear, socks still on, because why not make it weirder, and casually strolls over to the water hazard like he's about to take a dip at his local pool. And yep, he jumps in. This guy dives headfirst into the murky lake, swims out like a man on a mission, and comes back with the club raised over his head like he just retrieved Excalibur. The gallery goes nuts. Hadwin gets his 8-iron back. And social media completely explodes. But here's where it gets even funnier. Hadwin's wife confirms it all online, saying, yep, that happened, like it's just another day in the life of a PGA pro. The whole thing turned into a viral sensation within minutes. But imagine being Adam Hadwin, trying to keep your cool at a major championship, while some half-naked guy wades through a lake to return the club you just threw in a fit of rage. Funny for us? Totally. But for Hadwin, that's the kind of moment that'll follow you around forever. Sliding in at number 5, we witnessed the greatest comeback ever happened at the PGA Championship, all directed by Justin Thomas. We're at Southern Hills, 2022. By Saturday night, this Chilean guy, Mito Pereira, who most casual fans had never even heard of, is somehow up by 3 shots. Meanwhile, Justin Thomas is basically forgotten about. 7 shots back. Nobody's even thinking about him. The TV cameras are barely showing the guy. He might as well be playing a different tournament. JT's Sunday starts with a bogey. Great. Now he's 8 back. The broadcast is all Pereira, all the time. But then the Oklahoma wind is going wild, and weird stuff begins happening. Guys at the top of the leaderboard start leaking oil. Bogeys everywhere. Double bogeys. The leader starts looking shaky. And Thomas? He's quietly making moves. Birdie on 9. Another on 11. Clutch par, save on 12. By the time he birdies the 17th, people are starting to whisper, wait, is JT actually in this thing? He's still 3 shots behind Pereira standing on the 18th tee. He needs a birdie just to have a prayer. Boom, he nails a clutch putt on 18 to post 5 under in the clubhouse. Then this young gun, Will Zalatoris, also finishes at 5 under. But Pereira's still leading by 1 with just the last hole to play. Par wins. Bogey forces a playoff. What happens next? Drama. Pereira, feeling the pressure like a ton of bricks, absolutely craters. Hits this wild slice into the creek on 18, makes double bogey and doesn't even make the playoff. The poor guy goes from holding the trophy to finishing 3rd in like 5 minutes. So now it's Thomas versus Zalatoris in a 3-hole playoff, and JT just stomps him. Birdies the first 2 playoff holes while Zalatoris can only make pars. Game over. From 7 shots back Sunday morning to holding the Wanamaker Trophy Sunday night. The kind of comeback that almost never happens in majors. Oh, and number 4 takes us to a jaw-dropping rules fiasco that left everyone speechless. 2010 at Whistling Straits wasn't supposed to end with everybody freaking out and flipping through rule books. But man, did we get one of the craziest, most gut-wrenching finishes ever. So here's Dustin Johnson, this tall, athletic dude who makes golf look ridiculously easy. He's standing on the 18th tee with a one-shot lead. One good drive, one decent approach, and boom, he's got his first major championship. The Wanamaker Trophy is practically in his trunk already. His drive on 18 drifts right and ends up in the sandy area that's been trampled all to hell by spectators. No big deal, right? Just a crappy lie, but totally playable. DJ steps up, puts his club behind the ball, and gets ready to hit. What he doesn't know, and this is the crazy part, is that this random patch of sand is actually considered a bunker. At Whistling Straits, they have like 1,000 bunkers scattered everywhere. I'm talking bunkers inside bunkers, bunkers outside the ropes, bunkers that don't even look like bunkers. And there's this local rule saying all sand is a bunker, even if fans have been walking through it all day. So when DJ put his club down and it touched the sand, that's a 2-stroke penalty. But DJ has no clue about any of this. None. He hits his shot, misses his par putt, walks off thinking he's tied for the lead and heading to a playoff with Bubba Watson and Martin Kamer. He's probably already thinking about his playoff strategy when these officials walk up to him with a 2-shot penalty. Just like that, instead of going to a playoff for a major, he's tied for 5th. And now you've reached our top 3. Now imagine this. You grind through 2 tough rounds at a major, your score's right on the cut line, and you're thinking, I've done it. You're in. But just when things start looking up, you realize you've made a tiny mistake. And that tiny mistake? It blows everything up. At the 2020 PGA Championship at TPC Harding Park, Cameron Tringale was walking off the course after carding what looked like a solid 68, good enough to play the weekend. But sometime after signing his card, something started to bother him. One of the holes didn't feel right, and he goes back to double-check his round, and that's when it hits him. On the par 3/8, he didn't make a par. He made a bogey, which meant the 68th he just signed for wasn't accurate. It was actually a 69. And in golf, if you sign for a lower score than you actually made on a hole, it's game over. No warnings, no slap on the wrist, just disqualified. Tringale immediately told officials what happened and was DQ'd on the spot. And just when you think that's tough, it turns out this wasn't even the first time. He had already done the exact same thing at the 2014 PGA Championship, disqualifying himself after realizing he may have recorded a bad score after the tournament was over. 2 different PGA Championships, 2 self-reported mistakes, 2 disqualifications. Respect for the honesty? Sure. But talk about a golfer's worst nightmare, and one of the most quietly devastating and embarrassing moments in PGA Championship history. Next is number 2, and this incredible moment is all thanks to Padraig Harrington. In 2008, Oakland Hills course was absolutely eating the world's best players alive. Crazy thick rough, greens faster than a NASCAR track, and hazards placed exactly where your ball wants to go. As Sunday wore on, the leaderboard kept changing with no rest. Guys would climb up with a birdie, then nosedive with a bogey minutes later. Through all the chaos, 2 dudes emerged from the pack. Padraig Harrington, this gritty Irishman who just won his 2nd straight Open Championship, and Sergio Garcia, the super talented Spaniard still hunting for his first major. It was like history repeating itself. Just a year earlier at Carnoustie, Harrington had beaten Garcia in a playoff to win his first major, a loss that absolutely crushed Sergio. Now, here they were again. Same 2 guys, battling for another major. As they hit the home stretch, Garcia's clinging to a 1-shot lead. But the monster wasn't done claiming victims. Sergio bogeys the brutal 15th, and suddenly, they're tied. The momentum's shifting. Harrington, sensing his moment, goes for the jugular on the par 4 17th. His approach shot stops just 10 feet from the hole. When he drains the birdie putt, he's got the outright lead with 1 hole to play. The 18th at Oakland Hills that week was playing like a literal nightmare. Guys would have signed for par in blood before teeing off. Harrington's drive finds the first cut of rough. His approach from the semi-rough catches it a little heavy and stops short of the green. Now he's facing this super delicate chip from a tight lie, and his touch temporarily goes MIA. The ball races past the hole, stopping about 18 feet away. What looked like a likely par is now in serious trouble. A bogey would open the door for Garcia to tie or even win. The gallery around 18 goes dead silent. Harrington finally pulls the trigger, and the ball starts left of the hole, slowly curling toward the cup with perfect speed. When it disappears, Harrington explodes with emotion, fist pumps, roars. The whole 9 yards. Garcia, watching this unfold, gets absolutely deflated. He bogeys both 17 and 18 to finish 2 back, adding another chapter to his heartbreaking major championship story. For Harrington, this putt cemented his place in golf history. In just over a year, he'd gone from a guy known for near misses to a 3-time major champion. And finally, the big number 1. How could it not be this one? You're a complete unknown, rocking a wild mullet, sleeping in your car because you're not even in the field. You're the 9th alternate. That's John Daly in 1991. Middle of the night, his phone rings. Nick Price had dropped out, his wife had gone into labor. So they start working down the list. First alternate? Unavailable. Second? Can't make it. Third, fourth, fifth. Nothing. By the time they get to Daly, it's 2 a.m. He jumps in his car and drives through the night, 7 straight hours to Crooked Stick Golf Club in Indiana with 0 practice rounds, no game plan, no clue what the course even looks like. And then, he puts on one of the most dominant performances in major championship history. Daly walks onto that course like a man with nothing to lose, because he didn't. He just starts bombing drives over bunkers no one else dares to challenge. While the rest of the field is laying up or playing safe, Daly's just gripping it and ripping it, turning Crooked Stick into a playground. He averaged over 300 yards off the tee, a jaw-dropping number in 1991, and used that power to give himself short wedges into greens where others needed long irons. In the final round, with the entire golf world watching in disbelief, Daly never blinked. He stayed aggressive, stayed calm, and carded a rock-solid 69 to close it out. He finished the week at 12 under par, beating Bruce Lietzke by 3 shots and becoming an overnight legend. No practice, no pressure, no problem. John Daly didn't just show up. He stole the show, rewrote the script, and made golf history in 4 days flat. Oh, and now that you're still with us, we have another great video for you right in the middle of the screen. Enjoy.